right, everyone. Welcome back to another exciting day of SCAD Esports Overwatch. I am Cooper. I'll be casting today. I am joined here by my co-caster.
What's up, guys? I'm Drew Druz. I'm also going to be casting today's Overwatch game.
And we have an exciting match up today. Drew, what do you think we're going to see here? It looks like we're going to be starting on the Ilios. In terms of comps, what do you think we're going to be looking at?
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see both teams running the current meta ball comp. I could also definitely see some teams picking up Diva. Seems to be a popular ball counter pick. Maybe some Roadhog if things get really wild. But I would expect a lot of ball. Maybe some Winston Brawl as well. But nothing too crazy, I'd assume.
Gotcha. I hope we see two balls too, but as we all know, Scat incredibly confident on that ball comp. So if it comes down to a ball mirror, who knows what can happen, you know?
Yeah, last week was just a display of dominance. I mean, SCAD was just playing at their pace, forcing the other team to follow their pace, just doing everything faster before the other team could even get a chance to react or adjust their playstyle. So we'll see if they keep that up today.
Yes, we will as we load into the Lighthouse Ilios map as both teams are preparing their compositions. Will we see two balls or will we perhaps see something a little crazy? Maybe an Orisa, maybe a Doomfist. And it looks like we're gonna have a quick pause on the match as one of the teams here is not quite ready, taking a quick drink break. Can relate, gotta stay hydrated,
The key to success.
The
But
key to.
as far as these DPS picks are going to go, Cooper, what do you think we're going to see on this Helios point here?
Well, I hope we see a tracer because I always enjoy watching a good tracer, but I'm
Yeah,
sure we'll definitely be seeing a Sojourn. Perhaps an off-meta pick like a Pharah just to poke out that back line, maybe a Widow if they're confident. Honestly, I mean, Widow might be a little dangerous, little too cocky. Um, but I wouldn't be surprised.
yeah, I'm here to see some like pharmacy gameplay. Maybe some Echo Mercy could be interesting.
It could be interesting indeed. Maybe for these supports, maybe we see Brig Zen as is the current meta. Maybe we see
Right.
Baptiste Mercy. All right,
Yeah.
let's see what we got here. All right, Ball Tracer Sojourn Brig Zen for SCAD and Ball Tracer Unknown Zen Brig for Penn.
Yeah, it looks like Penn State's going to be doing the teleport out of spawn strat just to get to the midpoint faster.
Yep. And who can say if it's going to help? Penn State opting for the Cassidy, switching over to the Echo as we go in here. SCAD also switching over to the Sim as we get started here. TPs are out, and both teams are rushing to claim this center area. The ball is meeting in the center as everyone else starts to catch up as we're just initiating this little poke phase. Ball for DMT going in for an aggressive peek onto the SCAD backline, but is quickly pressured out as Donnie seems to be trying to isolate a target with Shiz. Forcing out that Echo to use their fly, the objective opens, and both balls rush to claim it as we have a nice 1v1 here. 2v1 as Memory going on to Donnie. The balls continue to have their little scuffle in the corner there. They both back out, and Penn State claims the point. Nothing has really happened here until Memory finds the pick on Do It for Doja. Yaksha claiming the kill on DMT. It's even for both teams here, losing an important player. Donnie trying to get that point presence to maybe get a cap for SCAD. Both supports for Penn are going to try and pressure them out, but the
Good
dive is
slam.
amazing. Goodbye, Paz.
Let's see
Both
if SCAD is going to flip the point here. Taking them a little while. There they go.
both balls here just rolling around trying to displace each team here. Guts finding the kill onto Donnie. Shiz 1v1ing DMT as SCAD keeps that point presence. Their ball comes back. The Tracer looking for a pick. Mines come out onto the point. Claims no one, but does get the point presence. Yaksha going for the 1v1 here. A little bit of a pincer attack playing a little dangerous next to that ledge, but finds
nice
the pick.
shot.
Overclock comes out, and Memory is forced to back off, trying to boot off Yaksha. It's ineffective as they claim everything they need to. The space, the kills, and SCAD keeps the point somehow in their control.
I mean, yeah, we saw it last week on Kings Row. Yaksha on this Sojourn pick, just looking dominant against the competition, one-shotting people left and right to take that point.
Oh my god, Shiz with the pick on TNT.
Oh, nice.
And another on Guts. Penn State's down too as the mines come out onto top. There goes the Pulse. Doesn't find anyone, but Cabimas displaying dominance as SCAD wraps up the fight as we're ticking into 70% here. A potential last fight territory. And Penn State, they've got 3 ults online. Let's see how they can use them to potentially force this point back into their control.
Yeah, SCAD does have both of their support ultimates, so we're gonna have to see how SCAD decides to manage this fight with those defensive ults.
Yaksha
Big pick.
claiming the pick as Trance is forced out. Penn State down two key ults as Memory isn't here to pop it. Rally comes out for both teams as Penn State tries to get this control. Pulse goes out onto Donnie, but it's ineffective, just forcing
that's
to grab
big.
attack. Donnie getting the boop on Quinn, Paz killing Donnie, but Cabimas, another whip shot kill. They are lethal with it. Trance goes out for Do It for Doja, Guts killing Yaksha. This could honestly go to anyone, but the support line for SCAD's just too strong. Maybe it isn't. Paz! Oh, unfortunate for Paz. Unable to wrap it up, and they can't get the touch to get more percent. SCAD leads into 95.
Big
It's
pick
gonna
from Donnie.
Big pick from Donnie. It's last touch territory as DMT puts the mines onto the point just to try and get some point.
Oh,
But
there goes the
he
brig.
gets the boop on Cabimas. Donnie's mines come out, and DMT finds the kill. It's looking more and more like this is gonna go for Penn. DMT falls off, and the Pulse is clean on Memory, but it's just Skiz, and he can't do everything by himself, unfortunately.
That was a long and sloppy fight. I'm surprised that Cabimas on the brig actually held that point down for as long as he actually did. Well played by that player.
Well, as we lead into last fight territory for this point, Donnie swapping over to the Junker Queen. Do It for Doja finding the pick on the Tracer. The shout comes out, and so does the Trance. A little early, one might say.
Yeah, maybe panicked a little bit there.
Scuffle. DMT, a key pick onto Yaksha. Skiz finding one onto Paz, and then onto Memory. Quinn finally getting revenge on Skiz. But is it too little too late? As the Pulse goes out, but doesn't find anyone. A solid 3v3 here. But I don't think they have the resources to be able to kill that Queen. As Yaksha comes back with the overclock, seeing if he can find anyone just to try and finish it up, and they do. Cabimas and Donnie getting those final picks.
Yeah, that was an excellent point just to spectate. I mean, I think honestly, the carry for that round for SCAD was the support line. I think the Zenyatta and the Brig were doing exactly what they needed to do, locking down the point and also getting key picks on the enemy team, especially on that Tracer. It's good stuff from the SCAD supports.
Sure. Special shout out to Cabimas for just keeping complete control of his area on that Pegida, keeping that Zenyatta safe. As it looks like SCAD's going to be hard swapping over to a Brawl comp here, as Penn State stays with the ball, switching over to a Sombra, however. Let's see.
Yeah, Sombra just such a nuisance on this point with that mega health pack on the side, and both of the two in each team's respective areas. It's just so frustrating when that health pack isn't available for your team.
Indeed, both teams meeting here at said health packs. Looks like Memory's looking for a hack onto Donnie. The Junker Queen is hacked. Shout goes out, and so does Axe, finding no one. Ball is just cleaving through. Big slam. Looking for a moment to get a pick onto anyone here. Donnie's facing all sorts of pressure between the hack and the Discord. Struggling to find a way to get in, but Yaksha finds it for him. A key pick onto the Tracer. As everyone can start running onto the point. Quinn picking off Cabimas. Donnie onto Quinn. Donnie onto Paz. Both supports are dead for Penn. The point has yet to be capped yet, but it's looking like SCAD's going to be able to take it as it's just the ball who unfortunately falls off the map.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this Junker Queen pick by SCAD, honestly. I think Junker Queen is such a fun character and works so well when you build the entire team comp around her and allow her to just get in there and mess things up. Super fun to watch and fun to play.
Penn agree, as it looks like SCAD's here setting up for a nice cross section. Skiz is behind everyone as DMT puts on the point pressure alone, trying to pick off Yaksha. It's ineffective as the support line is always there. Looks like Penn State's fully going around here. Skiz getting the kill on Paz, but Quinn, a quick revenge. But it looks like they're all isolated. Yaksha finding the pick onto Quinn as they flip it to Penn State. Looks like it's just a scuffle onto the point here. Guts trying to find a pick onto do it for Doja. Forces recall out. Hack goes onto Donnie. A big slam. As someone needs to find some form of picks here. There goes the EMP trying to flip it. But Skiz gets the kill on memory. Rampage comes out finding no one. A stick onto the
big pulse bomb.
Kiriko. Big pick. Guts putting this fight on his back and claiming it for Penn. Gad's gonna need to recoup here as Penn State gets the lead in the percentage.
Yeah, well played by Guts there, getting in there, getting 3 final eliminations to clean up that point for Penn State.
Looks like they're getting really forward here as both the ball and the Tracer are sitting on top of the ruins. Big slam down, but the Suzu goes out just a bit late. There goes the Kiriko ult, but they're just able to walk away from it. Huge pulse!
Big pulse bomb, both supports.
Both supports Skiz finds it true. Yaksha, big pick on the DMT as SCAD starts to steamroll this fight. Donnie getting the pick onto Tracer. Guts even. And unfortunately for Penn, they're just going to have to give up the point after such a big pulse.
Yeah, very well played by Shiz there, finding the opening that he needed. Creates 2 instant picks for SCAD, and they flip the point back.
DMT still looking to get those slams, probably just trying to get that mine percentage up as he's disrupting the entire team. Huge rotations from both. Donnie finds it. The beat comes out. The overclock comes out. Looks like it was perchance over ulted for SCAD, as they have no more ults to deal with the 2 coming up for Penn State. I wouldn't say this fight has been won or lost yet, but it's looking like Penn's gonna try and take it with these ults here.
Yeah, Penn State did a good job of kiting those ultimates from SCAD, just playing their cards right, taking their time.
Trance goes out for Paz, a big pulse onto Yaksha. Penn State have the advantage, claiming the point presence. Donnie, big pick onto Quinn. Donnie, once again, gets the rampage off, hitting the ball and the Tracer, and it ends up killing them. What looked like a pretty lost fight for SCAD is looking very winnable. Just having that Tracer and the ball left, I don't see it. They've got the point presence and they can lead the percent as much as they want, but I don't see how they take the fight as they just do a soft reset.
Yeah, Penn State does have this EMP here. There it goes. Let's see what they can do with it.
Massive EMP pulse goes out onto Paz. It sticks Donnie. Penn State once again has no support. This is final fight. The Kiriko ult, it comes out, finding no one in particular. Didn't really mention it, but Yaksha switching over to the Reaper here. Finds the kill onto Guts. Donnie, big axe swing onto the ball as he's bleeding HP quickly. He needs to find a health pack and get back in and hope that his team can stall the point long enough for him to get back. Here comes Quinn, booped off. DMT, big slam onto Yaksha. Pops the shields and then backs off back onto the point as we are fighting for any inch. Kabimas, huge beat, keeping SCAD healthy here as it starts to wear off. Skiz, big pick onto the ball. There goes the Suzu out, but do it for Doja, finds the pick onto Guts, and SCAD claims the map.
Yep, well played by SCAD there at the end of that last scrappy fight. The target focus appeared to be just on point. Yaksha making that switch to the Reaper, knowing that the ball is going to be a nuisance to stall the point. He just wants to 4-tap and get him out of there. Good game to SCAD for match 1.
Good game indeed as we watch this play of the game. Kabimas, undisputably the player of the match for this.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
What a show from both teams, really. I mean, it really did feel like any team could have won any one of those fights, as they request King's Row yet again.
Yeah, that was just a great game of Overwatch, to be honest. I love that SCAD is utilizing this Junker Queen pick in an interesting way, with the Lucio and the Kiriko, who may have fallen off of the meta just a little bit as of late due to the ball comps, but I think SCAD played that masterfully.
They did indeed, as we go back to King's Row, SCAD having shown quite a lot of proficiency on this map, as we have seen before. But that does not seem to phase Penn State as they go right in. As the time goes down, wonder what comps we're going to see. Hopefully 2 Rhines. Donnie on that Reinhardt. Looks like SCAD's going to opt for the brawl, as Penn looking to opt for the ball comp.
I'm not sure if this is just recency bias, but I've been seeing so much Mei in my ranked games, I can't help but wonder if she's an A or even an S tier character, especially on a map like King's Row where you're just funneling your team through these small alleyways. I think the Mei pick is insanely strong here. Have to see how SCAD plays with it.
I think, honestly, depending on the comp that you're going up against, the Mei could provide a lot of value, but looking at what Penn State has in store, not so much. Going for that ball comp, what can they really wall off except those supports? Donnie,
yeah, this Echo pick going to be tough to deal with too from a Mei perspective.
Donnie in a very aggressive position, having to charge back as DMT sets up his dive for the rest of his team. No one spots him. Memory trying to get one nice pick off. The ball is behind and in position. Big slam. No one's there to follow up fully. As SCAD rotates through onto the back line, they're speeding up as fast as they can just to try and get one, but they rotate a little too fast. They see it coming. Now SCAD's gonna have to fight to get back onto the point here. Do it for Doja. Big pick onto Paz. Reinhardt keeping that point presence as Quinn is booped off onto the Reinhardt, looking a little bit unhealthy as Donnie gets the pick. Yaksha finishing off the ball, leaving only Memory left as Yaksha finds another one. Guts looking like he's going to be trying to go for do it for Doja, but Kabimas, the protector, comes in.
I was a little worried for SCAD about how slowly they were seeming to rotate with to that fight, but I mean, they cleaned it up quick when they got to the point.
The second they forced them into it, it was just over for them. SCAD was able to force Penn into their brawl, and one by one they all fell. Donnie, big slam onto the rest of the team, DMT big slam. Donnie got antied here as the window goes out, and Penn is just hard kiting it. Guts, big peek on Do It for Doja. The mines go out, and so do the Pulse. The Rhine can't take all the damage. Memory, big pick onto Yaksha. Penn State has immense control of this point here, leaving only Kabinas and Shiz, but they both fall quickly to the weight of Penn State.
Yeah, well played minefield by DMT, and then a great follow-up with the pulse bomb off the knockup by Guts on the Tracer. Just a well-played fight, well executed by Penn State there.
We're going to be seeing some swaps here for SCAD, opting for the Kiriko, Diva, and now the Cassidy.
Interesting. I like this Diva pick here. I think this Diva is going to see a lot of value.
As we start our engage, they have been, Penn State has been spotted. Both Donnie and Skiz are able to follow up on them. That Diva getting super aggressive, eating those anti-nades. But the cleanse is there. Donnie getting super aggressive. Both tanks getting immensely aggressive here. Trying to find one pick. The nade comes out. Heat comes out, but a bit too late to save Yaksha as Memory finds the pick. Copying the Diva. Gets the bomb in time. Donnie gets demeched here. See if he can get it back in time. Probably not. DMT looking for that pick on Kabimas. Shiz gets the pick onto the copies mech, and a big pulse onto Paz, but unfortunately does not get away. Do It for Doja falls to Memory as the res comes out, and unfortunately for SCAD, they do not get the fight.
Skid says got two, and indeed he did get two. Just one of them happened to be himself. Unlucky, Skiz.
Unlucky indeed. As SCAD prepares for their next fight here. The ball swinging in. Pulse comes out. And the Kiriko cleanse saves Yaksha, but not from the mines.
Big minefield.
Big minefield. Getting two. Do It for Doja. Yaksha falling. Guts with a big pick onto Donnie. Memory cleaning up Cabby Mass, leaving only one left alive. Skiz gonna try and get out, but I'm not too hopeful for him.
Yeah, Penn State looking so much cleaner on this map as opposed to Ilios from last map. They look a lot more comfortable on this comp, on these specific points. Gonna have to see what SCAD can do to counteract this aggression.
Skiz and Do It For Doja with some key
Big picks.
I don't even know how Skiz got it all the way back there, but he sure did. Donnie pushing up, SCAD able to get aggressive here and claim back their point presence, but they're probably just gonna have to back off here as that area is just not sustainable to hold. Big slam onto Cabby Mouse, gonna try and get the pick, but he gets out safely. Huge anti-nade, but Donnie finds the kill on Paz. The Nano goes out onto the Echo, unable to find a kill with it, but DMT finds his mark on Skiz, rolling through the team, gonna try and get some value here. The nade goes out and Yaksha does not let him get even an inch. Memory hitting all those stickies onto Cabby Mouse, putting him right back to spawn. Pulse comes out for Guts, unfortunately misses, but does get the Kiriko Suzu out. Kind of getting pincered here as Guts unable to
nice
live
headshot.
the headshot from Yaksha. Amazing aim. DMT getting real aggressive here, but SCAD is able to recuperate. They're back to 5. Echo Copy comes out to try and claim some space, but so does the Beat and the Noon. Slept by Paz. Amazing sleep there. Memory. D-Mech. See if they can kill the baby. They get it. Yaksha. Another bomb comes out. Memory cannot find a break from this kill feed. Is getting the kill onto Paz and Yaksha cleaning up Quinn. SCAD wins the fight.
Yeah, I'd like to apologize to Penn State as I think I may have jinxed them, because now apparently SCAD has flipped the script and is once again playing at their insanely fast pace, just running amok in Penn State's backline.
Mines come out for DMT, finds the pick onto Yaksha, unprepared. Do It For Doja able to TP out. Looks like Penn State has swapped over to the Ash. Paz getting the kill on Donnie's back, and Quinn killing Donnie himself. Cabby Mouse finding the pick onto Paz, and Quinn with the triple kill. What a player here.
SCAD's Kiriko looks as if he's stuck in the backline. Gonna see if he can get his way out of this one. It's gonna be close. Nope.
Memory
Down he goes.
cleaning it up. As SCAD gets ready for the next fight here, looks like DMT is getting a little too aggressive. Goes down to half HP before getting forced out here. As SCAD recuperates, they've got a key ult here to try and get the space. As we get into the final parts of this map, the Kiriko ult comes out, slightly cut off by the point, unfortunately, but it doesn't even matter. Yaksha, big pick onto Memory, as SCAD claims back their spot. Yaksha, another huge pick onto Guts. SCAD has claimed their spot on this map here. As we get into last minute, last fight territory, SCAD with 2 key ultimates, and Penn State only really has one on the way, that rally. Maybe they can get that trance in time, but it might not happen.
I'm expecting Skiz to get a big pulse bomb pick here. I don't really see any way that Penn State can counteract it. Diva Bomb goes out though.
So
Won't
does
find
the
anyone.
rally. Happiness! Once again, lighting up the kill feed. DMT falls as Penn State's left without a tank. Paz finds the kill onto Skiz, gets that trance up, proving me wrong immediately. The Bob comes out, seeing if it can get any value. So does the Beat for Cadimas, as that Bob is mostly just killed immediately. Both the trance and mines for Penn State comes out, and it does get a pick, but so does Skiz. But it doesn't even matter.
DMT.
DMT with the MTD. Wow.
Well said, well said.
30 seconds left on the map for Penn State, but they do get all 3 cap points.
I mean, that last fight was insane by DMT. How many kills did he get there? 4? 4 final blows on SCAD?
Including the kill onto the mech, that would be 4, I think.
Yeah, insane stuff from DMT. Very well played. The minefield, you know, just cut off SCAD essentially completely from the point. They had to force their way through to try and contest. Just way too much damage for SCAD to deal with there.
As we get into this attack for SCAD, I wonder if they're going to be going for their same comp. It looks like they are opting for the Diva Widow Sombra. Perhaps they're going for a ball comp, and this Diva is just, you know, for funsies to play around in the spawn area. But more interestingly, Penn State also opting for the ball comp on defense with the Tracer, Ash, Zenyatta, and Brig. Drew, what do you think they're going to be going for here?
I mean, for Penn State, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I think SCAD actually needs to make some adjustments here. I'm not sure as to why SCAD isn't running their own ball comp here to try and mirror Penn State and put an equal amount of pressure on Penn State's backline, but I guess this diva is just more of like a comfort or appeal pick for SCAD's backline, you know, just to keep them protected, keep them safe, but I would definitely opt for the ball.
As would I. Skiz! Big pick immediately! Finding that opening Widow shot that all of us normally miss right onto Memory's Crondolium. DMT swinging in, but unfortunately the SCAD backline is already ready for him, as they seem to be preparing to go up to dive those backlines, letting them get up to the high ground on the hotel, as everyone's just looking for a single pick. Donnie's feeling lots of pressure, but backs up to try and finish off that ball. Unfortunately, as most balls do, he does get out. Big slam, finding them all. Yaksha with the pick onto DMT, saying, no, you cannot cleave through my team any longer. As SCAD puts themselves onto the point, trying to get a tick here. Looks like they're going to be given it without too much pressure. Donnie going up to challenge out those backline supports. Yaksha finding the pick onto Quinn. Paz getting a quick revenge for his fallen support ally. Cleaning up Yaksha. Memory, who had swapped over to the soldier, finds Do It For Doja, but SCAD gets 3. Donnie gets forced out of his mech, but it doesn't even matter as it's just the ball and the Brig on their way. Looks like SCAD's going to be getting this final point here. DMT with a quick touch, but it doesn't even matter as SCAD claims it and then claims DMT's life.
Well played by SCAD there in that long, just endurance fight. Good stuff. Maybe it was the close spawns that helped them out more, but SCAD looked like they knew what they were doing with this diva pick.
Proving us wrong yet again as fast as last time. That diva
literally
in handy as Penn State's got this pulse up here. Maybe Donnie's looking to eat it. If we see a pulse eaten in the kill feed, I'm popping off.
I'd say it's about 70-30 Donnie's gonna eat this pulse bomb. I think he's gonna do it.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
I'll take those bets. Oh my god! There
Speak
it
the
is.
devil.
Donnie eating the pulse from Guts. Completely disrespected. Do It For Doja finding the pick onto Guts. The bomb goes out and it gets DMT.
How did that get
somehow.
a kill?
I have no idea. The trance goes out, but it's too little too late and can't save his ball. SCAD cleans up and they seemingly are having an incredibly easy time so far on the second point. Looking a little bit like Penn State earlier, but as we saw, it can go to hell in just a matter of seconds.
Yeah, both teams have a decent amount of ultimates here. SCAD having 3 at the moment. Penn State coming up on 3 of their own, close to that Brigida ult. Minefield comes out though.
Donnie finds the pick. There goes the sights and the overclock. The overclock finds Paz for SCAD. They're up 2. Guts on the Sombra now. Goes down. Yaksha feeling no pressure at all. Gets behind them. Do It For Doja and Yaksha able to just carve through this team.
Yeah, excellent positioning there from Yaksha. He sees the ball, goes down, and knows he just is allowed to rain down on Penn State. No one can contest him up there.
Penn State swapping from ball to Zarya and from soldier to Tracer. Going for a little Sombra Tracer action here. DMT looking for something. Undani on the monkey now with Kabima switching to the Ana.
Yeah, I think DMT was trying to go for the Diva counter pick, but Donnie caught onto it way too fast and ends up reverse counter picking Penn State Zarya counter pick.
The rally comes out for Gwyn, but unfortunately for them, they can just back out of it. Memory gets the pick on Donnie though. The trance comes out a little too late. Paz onto Skiz, and it looks like it's just going to be a clean-up fight for Penn State after that key pick against Donnie. Do It For Doja though, getting the pick onto Memory, and early.
The Ana's gonna live.
The Ana does live. Kabinas finding some way to hide and get out. Donnie with the pick onto DMT as now there's no tank to stop him, and he can just carve through Penn here.
Oh yeah,
Quinn
this Winston's
falls
gonna put in work.
next. As SCAD takes the last stretch here with 3 minutes on the clock. DMT back to the ball. A hack onto the Winston comes out, but so does the Nano as he tries to find that backline, but the Brig Boop's a little too strong. The ult on the spawn doors is quite creative. Skiz gets the kill into Guts, but Memory finding Cabinas. Skiz doing all the work. That's 3 kills.
Look at Donnie just keeping him prisoner inside the spawn with the Primal Rage. Pulse bombed out of the EMP. What a shot.
Out of the EMP. That is a differential if I've ever seen it. There goes the trance, but Yaksha's overclocks are a little too good. Paz unfortunately falls to the disruptor shot. DMT trying to get any amount of pressure on Yaksha to get him out, but it doesn't even matter. Pulse comes out from Memory, but it's too little too late as Donnie's jump pack finds the kill. The Bastion swap comes out, but falls just as quickly as SCAD. 3-minute time bank.
Yeah, perhaps a little karma for trying to counterpick the D.Va pick with the Zarya there. Just instantly read by SCAD. The Winston pick is picked up, and it's just over from that point on. Too much pressure from SCAD.
And we go into round 3 here with Penn State's attack, I think. If I am correct.
Yes.
Yes,
that is
Penn
correct.
State's attack. Never know because I am not. I just can't ever remember it. As we go in here, now Penn State opting for the D.Va pick with the Pharah and Bastion. Perhaps a little cheese comp going on here. And SCAD opting for the safer ball pick.
I mean, do we think that Penn State is going to pull out a Mercy Pocket DPS situation here to hopefully catch SCAD off guard? I'm not sure if that's going to be a fantastic idea because Yaksha looking pretty dominant on this Sojourn pick so far, and they do have the Zenyatta Discord, but I mean, we'll have to see. The Widowmaker pick, though, is still just insanely lethal on this first point. The defender has to change how they play and where they play against Widowmaker. Let's see how SCAD handles this with this Orisa pick.
The pharmacy does indeed roll out. DMT switching back to the ball. And Donnie not on the ball, but on the Orisa.
Yeah, strange pick to me.
Maybe they think they can get some form of surprise factor advantage when they only need to hold for a minute. Looks like Skiz in a bit of trouble, forced to use his recall and most of his blinks to get out, as Memory is just able to reign free against SCAD here, completely uncontested. I say as he starts getting pelted by both the supports immediately. Paz with the kill on Skiz. It's looking like this is going for the way of Penn State. Memory finding Yaksha. The ball swings in onto Donnie, but the health can only hold so much, and they're forced to back off as Penn State gets this early point presence here. It looks like SCAD's not going to be able to contest. Donnie's trying to rush back to spawn for chance to get a quick swap onto the D.Va. Yaksha off the Sojourn onto the Cassidy to hopefully deal with this flyer.
Yeah, Donnie going back onto the D.Va I think is absolutely the right call here. I think perhaps SCAD was expecting a different comp from Penn State, and that's why they started on the Orisa. But now DMT counterpicking the D.Va again with the Zarya, but this time Donnie has no escape to go back to base and pick Winston.
Indeed, as we go into overtime here, if Penn State loses one fight, it's over for them. Donnie forcing out the Tracer, and the Nano goes onto the D.Va, gets the kill on the Mercy. The Ana falls next. Yaksha finding the DPS, do it for Doja, finishing off DMT as that's gonna do it. Well, not getting too much progress on that card.
Yeah, Penn State just they had to ult first there, and they just didn't. SCAD just beat him to the punch with that Nano. Penn State had 2 ultimates of their own and just got outpaced. That's just unfortunate. Playing too slow.
The classic SCAD pacing differential. As we go into SCAD's attack, realistically, if Penn loses this first point and can't get themselves back to the point quickly, that's just going to be a wrap for them, and SCAD's going to claim victory.
Yeah, it's over if they catch them out really bad, get some staggers, some late spawners, it's done for. They've got to play this precisely perfect if Penn State wants to hold this point.
But that's not to say that it can't be done, as they are opting for the Genji. No, they're opting for a ball comp looking like the Sombra Tracer Zen Brig. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. As SCAD here, sticking to that Diva, Ski is going to be looking for that early pick again. Yaksha on the Genji for now, but that could change.
Yeah, I was doubtful of the Diva pick at first, but Donnie playing this pick masterfully, essentially winning the fight for his team on that last point. Well played. What do you think about this Sombra pick, though, here on defense?
I think they might have expected them to go ball here.
Yeah, I agree. Have to see what kind of value this Sombra gets. I'm not sure.
Skiz not finding the shot on the Widow. Yaksha over to the Cassidy. And Skiz on the Tracer as we get into a standard ball comp. Donnie gets hacked on his way up to the back line, forcing out Memory as all of SCAD just collects onto that high ground, finds the ball, and almost gets hacked out of his dive. That would have been fatal if he fell there. As Penn State seems very split right now, but in a great way. Maybe not, though. Do it for Doja, finding Paz. DMT finding Do it for Doja as both teams start to collide. As Yaksha killing off Quinn, but Memory killing off Caddymass. We're just trading supports at this point. Donnie out of his mech, but Skiz finding Guts. This could honestly go to anyone. Memory finishing off the baby Diva. Yaksha swinging onto point, but it's not good enough as it gets booped into Paz, who finds the kill. SCAD looking for an opening, perhaps to get a single tick, but it's looking like they're not going to get it as that point starts to go down. Maybe not, as they keep it high, and they get the tick. Tracer Memory on behind with Guts, looking for a kill in the back line, but Yaksha is there to help, and Cabimas once again getting the 25th kill with that whip shot. Guts finishing off Do It for Doja, as it's a pretty even fight here. Both Memory and DMT have their ults. Donnie finding Guts. I can see both of them coming out here, or perchance they're just going to let them have the point and fight for the arches. Rally comes out for Cabimas, and so does the Pulse, and so does the Mines, and so does the Trance. That is 4 ults, 3 for Penn State. Perchance a little over ulted. Donnie getting that bomb up, and
no.
Yaksha. It doesn't even matter if they use 3 ults. SCAD's just gonna claim the kills anyways. Yaksha finding DMT. Thankfully, though, for them, they're on ball and can get back fast enough for this last fight.
Oh, that was a nightmare scenario for Penn State. 3 ultimates and they still lose the point.
SCAD still has 40 seconds just to get it to the arches. DMT getting onto that high ground, hopefully trying to get a little distraction. Skiz, Do It for Doja, Donnie all have their ults. Yaksha finding Guts and getting his own ult very soon as he runs to the back line. There goes the bomb. It's perfect. Paz cannot get away as the pulse comes out, but it's not good enough. Every ult starts coming out, and SCAD takes the victory.
Well played by SCAD, but that entire map came down to that last point, and ultimate ability management is what essentially lost Penn State that map and won SCAD the game there. Just well played by SCAD. Perhaps a little panic from Penn State on that defense there to pop all 3 of those ultimates at once. But SCAD just looked calm, cool, and collected.
Unfortunately, you can't really blame them, as we see that wonderful play from DMT, finding 4 elims on that final point, clutching it up for Penn. But unfortunately for them, it's just not quite good enough. And SCAD wins again, 2-0, not even dropping a map.
Yeah, DMT definitely had himself a game. I think he was the standout player from the Penn State squad there. But as far as SCAD goes, I'm still going to have to give it to Cabimas on that Brig. I mean, the man was just putting in work constantly, 24/7. The whip shots, the ults, holding the point by himself. Just fantastic support play from Cabimas.
Fantastic support play from both sides, as it was an absolute treat to watch on both teams the supports light up that kill feed. But unfortunately, that is going to do it for us for this game. But stay tuned, as we do have another match coming up, and we hope to see you there. Everyone take care.
Yep, thanks for tuning in, guys.
Welcome to game number 6 today. We'll be playing against University of Florida. I'm Bethany, and I'm here with...
What's up, guys? I'm Drew Richarez, and I'm also going to be casting today's game against Florida.
So, today we're looking at a starting map on Nepal. It looks like it's going to be Temple, I believe. I actually don't know the names for these. On this map, I'm going to be expecting to see a ball comp. Ball comp is just in right now. Plus, ball has all those sort of angles and escapes for megas all around this point. I'm going to expect to see a mirrored ball, but I'm excited to see what comes. So, we can see right now, SCAD has that ball comp, ball tracer, Sojourn, Briggs in, but on UF side, we're seeing some interesting picks with a Rhine Bap and a Genji as well. We'll see if they keep that Genji, but that could be a very, very interesting pick.
I mean, yeah, just looking at their profiles briefly, it looks like University of Florida does kind of have a hard Genji main. Gonna be interesting to see if they make this work.
Yeah, absolutely. So TPs are out, and both teams are heading quickly to the point. Ryan immediately charges in, while Donnie looks for that backline torture. UF has set themselves up on point, and Donnie gets out of there immediately after being hit with those sim turrets, while SCAD sets up on top right. Genji goes into a TP up to SCAD, meeting them up there, just forcing them to brawl, and SCAD has no choice but to back out while Donnie gets a pick on point. We're going to see Donnie try and contest this point for a while, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it. While Skits is down to Teslo, only Donnie and Do It for Doja are left. We'll see if they can contest this or what even SCAD can do. They're going to have to back out here and regroup. It looks like UF's really going to force this brawl comp, and SCAD's going to have to deal with it with that sim TP constantly. We see a little battle up here between Skits and Teslo, and Skits backs out with an early... Oh my god, an early pick on Donnie by Harmony, just absolutely slowing him down, allowing him no escape. Now SCAD is down their tank, and it doesn't seem like they know what to do. UF pushes into them, but Weirdo is slept, so they're forced to stop their push, while SCAD regroups here. Donnie with a switch to Winston, just doing anything to try and deal with this brawl comp, as well as an Echo Mercy, while UF just remains on point. This is definitely unseen territory for SCAD so far, dealing with this forcible brawl. Definitely interesting, something we haven't seen this season yet. As Donnie jumps in, tries to, but instantly picked. An instant pick on Kabimas, and instantly killed by Donnie. SCAD is just, has no idea what to do against this hard brawl comp, just completely unsure. They're just going to keep trying to force this Winston in on point, but what can they do? An early pick by Yaksha on Teslo. We'll see if they can follow up on that. As Gits backs out, Donnie jumps in. Donnie's already half health. The BAP window comes out, but Yaksha gets that nasty headshot on Orca. Let's see if they can follow up on that. Do It for Doja is down, but Donnie's got Harmony. Donnie's down. Let's see what SCAD can do. Tesla ults on point as Kabimas desperately hangs on. Let's see if Yaksha can get this touch, but he can't. And the first point goes 100-0 to UF. That was absolutely disgusting on the side of UF. Just forcing them to do that brawl comp. Sometimes you see this with no balls. They just or no balls. with no. It's clear UF does not want to play this ball comp, and they're forcing SCAD to go along with that. Looks like SCAD's going to try and pull out their own Rhine comp. They just were totally caught off guard by that brawl, and now they're going to go with that Mei to try and shut down that, first of all, shut down that Genji, and second of all, shut down that Rhine. Let's see if they can really adapt to these fast rotations by UF with their fast teleporters put down, as both teams come to the center with a TP out. We see them both meeting at the edge with a teleporter from UF, kind of a bait teleporter. And Weirdo just pins in. Donnie pins in, but totally misses and goes off the map. this fight is now entirely in favor of UF just by that mistake alone. UF instantly captures that point as that fight just immediately goes to UF. Well, we see Donnie coming in and trying to fight at this choke point, but with that sim just putting in constant damage, all they're going to need is a wall from Skits to try and block off any target, anything that they can get from this team, as they avoid the turrets almost completely. But Teslo just comes in with that immaculate Genji gameplay and gets those 2 early picks. There's just absolutely nothing SCAD can do about that. They're really going to have to figure out how to deal with Teslo, as he's just destroying their squishies. We really, really, really need to see that Mei wall coming in to try and pick off anybody. The speed that UF is playing at is phenomenal. SCAD's really scrambled. Not sure exactly what to do here. As an early window comes out from BAP, SCAD's forced to go in another direction. Cannot deal with that. But UF saw it coming, and that BAP window plus Fire Strike combo just eliminates Do It for Doja, and then the rest of SCAD is cleaned up right then and there. But a nasty boot by Kabimas on Orca, as Kabimas kind of as Kabimas sits outside of point and just waits for anybody else to try and push him. But nobody does. So Kabimas rejoins his team while Teslo scopes for some possible picks in the back. SCAD's moving in a little bit, trying to deal with those sim turrets first, and finally getting to a point where they can fight against UF here. But Tesla comes in with the Genji blade, just completely denying them that space, and getting Do It for Doja in the backline, who has no immortality, nothing to do to fight against that. Yaksha gets a pick on Weirdo, but isn't enough. Donnie gets a pick on Shun, but they're still going to have to deal with this Teslo, who can at any time get those squishies. And there it is. Teslo takes down Donnie with little healing. No Do It for Doja there to keep Donnie up. Kabimas gets a pick on Orca yet again, and the Blossom comes out to kill Harmony. And UF is forced to back off while SCAD caps this point. But 99-0, SCAD does have an ult advantage, but will they for long? It seems like a lot of this time SCAD has to use those ultimates to push back just the overwhelming force of Teslo and Harmony with that massive amount of beam damage, and we're going to see that shield coming out soon. See how SCAD deals with that, and there it is. There's the sim shield, but the Mei ult on point to try and deny any sort of point control by UF, and it works, Donnie gets that pick on Orca, as well as taking down Weirdo, but Teslo gets that pick on Kabimas, and there's just nothing that they can do about that. Donnie is trying to hold this point against Shun while Shun pulls out the immortality field, but it's just a standoff here. Donnie using the shatter on Shun just to kill Shun. I think that might have been a bit of an early shatter, but just to keep that point control, they had to do what they had to do. Donnie backs out completely just to get some help, and there's nothing Yaksha and Kabimas can do about that. They just cannot touch the point, and UF takes Nepal. So what we just saw there was some disgusting brawl gameplay by UF. They're taking none of that ball comp, none of that. With that TP, they're just allowed extreme access to the other team. They can go wherever they want to go, and we saw this nasty coordination by UF. They know, they can really feel their teammates, what they're going to do, and you can see that with that window fire strike. The amount of value they got out of window is just a sign of how good this team is. So, next map is totally SCAD's pick. We'll have to see what they choose. We may see a King's Row coming out. That's the common pick here, but we'll see what they do. And we know SCAD is quite good at King's Row. They're taking a quick bio break, so we have time to really discuss. It looks like SCAD's going to be going to Hollywood, which is a very interesting pick, something we haven't seen here. We'll see how UF deals with that, if they're going to continue trying to force this brawl comp, because apparently that is what that's their kind of comp. You can see that as they're denying the meta. They're not even taking the meta into account, as they just go with what they do best, and that seems to be working for them. And maybe Hollywood's not the next map. We're having a bit of a discussion here, but we'll see what that next map's going to be. For now, I want to see if SCAD can try and take this back into their own hands, because with that Rhine Brawl comp, there's a chance that having a ball can work into that. It might just not have been proper for Nepal, or specifically Temple, the first map. I'd like to see Donnie back on the ball and maybe give it another shot, give it another try. See if Donnie can actually go in and disrupt that brawl, because UF is going uncontested. They can set up wherever they please, and SCAD has just been forced to brawl into them. And clearly, so far, that brawling into them, it's not working. And especially, they have just a nasty, nasty Genji player on their team, and that can be absolutely devastating. That Genji, as soon as he dashes into somebody, it is over for them. So, but actually, it looks like we're seeing a sub out from Teslo. Teslo looks like he's being subbed out for another player. So let's see how that changes the dynamic of UF. Maybe they're trying to go for a different comp here, or maybe they just are giving another player a shot. We'll see. So I'd like to see that ball comp from Donnie. See if they can maybe get some disruption into that other team, because allowing them to just run like this well-oiled machine is not going to work out for SCAD. Those 2 rounds just proved that to us. SCAD cannot out-brawl this team. They are going to have to try to do something different. They're going to have to try and either counter this comp, or who knows, maybe Kings Row is their map. They could brawl it out with that mirrored rhyme potentially. We'll see how that goes. I will say definitely the standout players from last round was definitely Teslo, and I would say as well their tank played or Harmony, that's their other DPS's name. Harmony played amazingly coordinated with that Symmetra. It takes a lot of coordination to pull off a Symmetra, especially in this ball meta, and just constantly slowing down Donnie, not allowing him any room, any wiggle room, no time to escape, because he's constantly just being followed, tagged, scouted by this Harmony. While Tesla had free reign on the backline. So we see UF is going to be starting out on attack while SCAD is defending. Donnie is coming out on that Winston, maybe as an attempt to try and counter their Genji, but they don't have a Genji anymore. Or maybe even their Symmetra. Try and get rid of those Symmetra turrets, try and deny that Symmetra, but we'll see how that goes. So SCAD running the Winston, Echo, Sojourn, Mercy Ana. Mercy Ana is very interesting. We'll see if that's going to be a Mercy pocket on the Echo. And then, surprisingly enough, UF mirroring that Winston comp with a Widow on attack. Widow misses her first shot. She goes down to swap. And they actually roll out on Reinhardt as Weirdo and Donnie brawl it out in the choke, and Donnie is forced to move back onto the statue. Donnie gets a little bit of poke damage, but they teleport up top straight to Yaksha, trying to get Yaksha, but Yaksha is ready for that. Yaksha is not going to take none of that. But unfortunately, Yaksha does get picked by Harmony as Weirdo is forced to be alone. Slept, cannot escape, and Arez is out on skits.
Sorry to interrupt, Beth, but I am back. Technical difficulties are over.
Yeah, no worries, it happens. Yep, just had to pick it up. Oh, we just saw a nasty pick by Godzo on skits. Now SCAD is without their Echo and without their Ana, and UF just came back quicker than SCAD expected as they were down Yaksha. They were absolutely ready for that first teleporter, but they were not ready for the follow-up. And we see a swap from UF onto that Orisa. Kind of an interesting pick, definitely a counter to that Winston. We'll have to see if SCAD has time to go back and swap, or if they're going to keep the Winston with this comp.
Yeah, agreed. Winston, speak from experience, it's just so difficult to make work into the Orisa pick. Orisa just has so many ways to inconvenience Winston, so really tough matchup here for Donnie.
Absolutely deny him any sort of push, any sort of brawl especially.
Yep.
And the nano goes out on Donnie as he just absolutely attacks their backline relentlessly, and Godzo is down. Donnie is forced to retreat just a little below on health. And UF comes back in. Donnie pops that primal rage
That
and
was
gets a pick
insane.
on Harmony. It was just instant. Harmony did not stand a chance.
That was an insane primal juggle by Donnie to knock the Symmetra out of the teleporter and back into SCAD's team for the easy cleanup.
Yep,
Very well
absolutely
played.
no chance. And so we see Donnie just getting a little bit more poke damage, but able to retreat whenever he wants, while UF forces him out with that Kitsune rush plus an Orisa ult. It's just overwhelming for SCAD as Yaksha is picked by Godzo. But SCAD is doing an amazing job at pulling back and counter-ulting. We'll see if those ults actually can help SCAD win this fight, as they just pull back, give UF a little space.
Yeah, I think the ult there from Skids on the Echo was really just to cushion the blow, but SCAD with the counter attack going in with the Nano Monkey instantly met with 2 defensive ults from Florida though, with the Symmetra Wall and the Beat Drop.
It's definitely a game of ults right now as the teams just juggle through ults, and we saw that nano, that very, very quick nano on Donnie once again. You can really tell Doja is getting just the maximum amount of ult charge from these fights, just 2 nanos so close together. And we see Skits get this very, very early pick on Harmony. They're forced in, but a trade from God, so we'll see if UF's gonna take this one. Forcing Kabimas out of there, where Kabimas is kind of stuck with Donnie and instantly gets picked by that Deadeye, just stuck in that area, forced away by that Orisa, while the backline is terrorized by the enemy supports. Donnie pops Primal, but is going back in fully healed, and Yaksha comes in with the overclock with an instant headshot on Harmony, and it's just over for them. UF is forced to back out. That ult is just too scary. But Yaksha is still charged. No pick with that, but you know, what can he do?
Yeah, Sojourn is so hard to manage when you're on the defensive end of it. You have to pressure the Sojourn. You can't let her just rain down on you for free like Yaksha just did there.
Yeah, and there's nothing that UF can really do about it unless their Cassidy gets a great pick.
They have no high ground contest, and that's where he's playing.
Exactly. And we see Donnie with that nano again. Also, Yaksha just playing on that high ground and absolutely dominating over the other team. Weirdo gets a pick on Do It For Doja with the Orisa ultimate. I don't know what it's called.
Terra Surge.
Terra Surge. There we go. We see Kabimas try and give the res a shot, but it's just canceled by that weirdo. And it looks like SCAD's just gonna have to try and give up this point, continue to contest it, but those ults were just too much for SCAD to handle. Also using that Echo ult to try and contest, but it just did not work out. We see SCAD.
Florida's front line is just too beefy for SCAD to handle right now. If they just speed boost in with the Orisa, that SCAD really doesn't have an answer for that. I mean, how can they burn the Orisa quickly enough?
Yeah, their only answer is it's really up to Yaksha to do anything about that, but you know, if Yaksha physically can't, then there's nothing they can do. And we see them TP up top right to try and force that pocketed Ashe down as Donnie goes up to contest it, but Donnie's going to be forced down pretty quickly. UF is not giving up this high ground super easily as Weirdo just stays up there, absolutely denying them any sort of good positioning up there. But Weirdo is finally forced off and Skits can reclaim his territory as Yaksha gets a pick on Weirdo and Donnie pulls out the Primal Rage, instantly taking Cassidy down and jumping out. Just a pretty clean fight by SCAD, not panicking about UF taking that high ground, taking it slow, Donnie contesting them up there. Definitely a very clever way to play it. But UF really had no other choice but to TP up there and try and force them off. We'll see if they try and attempt that again. Or just,
I think putting the Orisa up there was a misplay, but the Nano Winston is going to jump in, cause some havoc. Both support ults are going to be coming out from the side of Florida. Down goes Bob in the middle of it all. Skids just putting in pressure with this pocket Ashe, see if he can get a pick here.
Unfortunately, Bob just absolutely shredded with that Kitsune Ramatra, and this is the first time we're really seeing a Ramatra against these SCAD games. Definitely going to be trying to take advantage of Donnie, just using him as kind of a punching bag here. But Donnie's not going down so easy and can obviously just retreat whenever he wants. Skit's still dominating this high ground here. Well, he's getting shielded by Ramatra, but it just won't hold him down for that long.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the teleporter is, it's literally the only way Florida has to get on that high ground with their current team comp. Unless Sojourn wants to get ballsy and just slide up there and do the work herself, but
Yeah.
SCAD snipers are uncontested right now, and Florida's feeling the heat for it.
Yeah, just nothing to help that Sojourn try and get that pocketed Ash. It's not going to work. So we see this Kitsune out, plus the Symmetra shield. UF is really pouring their ults into this fight, trying to make this last fight. As Ramatra also pulls out his nano ult, or no, he's not nano, his ultimate. But he's antied, and Bob remains on point contesting. Donnie's able to clear it up by taking out Godzo in the background, jumping in and instantly taking down Orca. Just pocketed by this Mercy right now. There's nothing that Ramatra can do. Not even a shield will save him from Donnie.
Yeah, Donnie just went unaccounted for there. I mean, Florida just kind of ignored him, and he kind of did whatever he wanted in the backline. He found the Sojourn, he found the Lucio on cart.
Just absolutely dominant. There's not, so we see a swap to ball just for contesting here, but we'll see how this ball will be played against by SCAD. Finally, some mobility from UF as Harmony is antied and so low and instantly picked, and there's just nothing they could do. Ball didn't touch, didn't even realize that his team was being killed by the Winston in the backline, and UF is unable to finish that point.
Yeah, it's going to be, unfortunately, a bit of a letter number from the University of Florida there. I guess Ball just couldn't quite get back to contest the point, and it's understandable that none of the snipers dropped. I'm not sure what happened in the comms there for Florida.
Yeah, definitely looked like a bit of miscommunication there at the end.
Yeah.
You'd assume somebody would have touched the point. I think maybe Weirdo was expecting the supports to touch or Harmony to touch, and they just couldn't because Donnie was over there destroying them.
Yeah, the snipers should be absolutely the last ones to try to jump on the point to contest or stall.
Yeah,
so I don't really blame Harmony or Godzo or anything, but yeah, just like you said, a miscommunication on the side of the Gators.
Yep, for sure. So definitely in that last point, we saw SCAD able to kind of get their footing back, able to get that high ground and kind of deny University of Florida any sort of like room to push them off. Even when they tried, SCAD just played it cool because there's absolutely nothing UF could do to kill the sniper. They just had to try and force them off. But even when they force them off, what can they do? They're not touching the point. They're not getting picks. They're just standing up there. So definitely a bit of an interesting approach by UF. So let's see how they take this SCAD attack. Donnie rolls out on the Winston and instantly jumps in, throwing down that bubble, trying to get some poke damage here, and definitely getting some ult charge for his healers. I think a lot of this is going to rely on those nanos, but an instant pick on Donnie. I think Donnie might have just missed a jump there. Now SCAD is forced to just poke a little bit more with that Echo Mercy, try and do some damage, waiting for Donnie to come back. Donnie comes back in. Let's see how he approaches this once again.
Yeah, this is pretty strange, honestly. When you think of King's Row, you think of, brawl comps. However, both teams are kind of running these pocketed sniper poke compositions. And I think SCAD is just kind of trying to mirror what Florida is doing. I think they're doing it pretty well.
Yeah, so we see an instant pick on Do It For Doja, which is then res, but Donnie is down now, so SCAD can't do anything. They're just forced out once again by this team. I think Sigma is a absolutely interesting pick here. Maybe expecting some sort of snipers to be on this team, but
I never see Sigma on King's Row. This is a new one for me.
Very interesting. Looks like they kind of just want to play a bit of a distance, so especially away from this Winston. I think they've been having trouble against Donnie, trying to play more away from him, just kite him, try and not allow him as much damage as possible. So we see Skits flying in, going after that Symmetra teleporter. Symmetra is totally isolated and just immediately down, while SCAD just...
This Sigma's might fall too, unless Florida plays this slow enough to get a good recontest, which it looks like they will.
It looks like they're trying to
back off.
To get that regroup. They got that Ana and Sigma there, so Ana should be able to keep that Sigma up. We'll see, and a nano on Weirdo, but he's instantly slept. So long as nobody touches Weirdo, he's not going to be able to do anything with this nano.
Donnie,
Curse, they're set up on point.
Oh, but he gets slept.
Just absolute kind of scatteredness from UF here. Not exactly what I expected. Definitely playing very separately, and seeing Donnie just able to really go in on their backline. Weirdo is just unable to stop Donnie. Donnie can do whatever he wants here, and we get a pick on skits by Shun. Just don't underestimate that Ana damage, but an instant res by Kabimas, as SCAD is able to push up very, very far and really prevent UF from making a cohesive push here.
Yeah, looking at Florida's team composition here, I see literally zero answers for this Winston pick. I'm not sure how they're planning to deal with him. I mean, maybe a Discord into a Sigma Rock could clean him up quickly, but I just don't think they have the burst to eliminate this Winston's threat that he's currently posing.
Yeah, they really don't, and we can see that in the way that Donnie is just using that Primal Rage on that Symmetra teleporter and just bullying them in the back line here, jumping in again and again, just jumping in and out, and UF has no idea what to do, but fortunately for them, they're able to shred him with that Discord plus anti plus sim.
Yeah, perhaps a little overzealous there from Donnie. Maybe got a little trigger happy.
A little bit confident about their ability to deal with this Winston.
Yeah.
But Skits goes in, does a little poke, as we see Symmetra just setting up all kinds of teleporters, really giving UF a bit of mobility that they don't have with this comp. And we see that Sigma ult just absolutely destroys Donnie paired with that anti, as Kabimas does the most risky res, and it does not work out for him. Now UF just goes and tries to clean up this Ana and Echo is able to... Echo does not even get out. Godso just pushes up and absolutely destroys him. We'll have to see SCAD regroup here after that and try and push into this team.
I do just want to say, Skits, I saw that Echo Tech there, where he got Gravitic Flux by the Sigma, and then copied into the Sigma to cleanse himself of the Gravitic Flux, so he wouldn't take any damage from it. That was a big brain play. Unfortunately, SCAD did end up losing that fight, but I see what you did there, Skits. Well played.
Absolutely. And so we see UF just posturing at this choke and teleporting the ulting Cassidy, who has slept in anti, so nothing he can do about that. SCAD was ready for that. UF loves to get creative with these TPs, as Skits gets a pick on Orca, and Symmetra is nanoed that absolutely shreds Skits, and Donnie can get that nanoed Symmetra, as well as just having free reign on these squishies in the backline, but then is killed by that Sigma Rock, but SCAD is able to clean it up with only Donnie as a sacrifice.
I mean, they just have to get an answer for this Nano Winston play. That is clearly SCAD's win condition. And it looks like they are going to be switching to the Lucio here to maybe help kite that, but
yeah,
I'm not sure if that's going to be enough.
Maybe help kite it and also try and keep that Winston off those squishies. Maybe try and defend those squishies.
Yeah,
but
move them off. Yeah.
With the speed which Donnie's playing and constantly jumping in and out, there's not much a Lucio can do. You see that boop on Donnie. A beat from UF. See if that will help them win this fight, as Weirdo Gravitic fluxes their backline and gets a pick on Yaksha and do it for Doja, and is going to get Kabimas here if Kabimas cannot escape. That was just a very split fight by SCAD, and they were not able to deal with that Sigma. As Donnie jumps into their team, Weirdo jumps into SCAD's team, and there's just nothing Donnie can do about it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this player Harmony is just a hard Symmetra specialist one-trick player per se, but he's performing very well on this normally, not so fantastic Symmetra pick. I've seen him kill the Echo, I've seen him kill, the Mercy out of the air. He's playing this very well. He picks up a kill on Yaksha there.
Yep, a kill on Yaksha plus a pick on Donnie. Donnie was just unable to escape that, even with Ana heals from the back. And UF just pushes into SCAD with SCAD has no answer to their copy, or their mirrored Winston.
Yeah, I do agree that I think Weirdo's making a good swap to the Monkey here. Contest the high ground, help defend his team a little bit, maybe counter dive, but they also opt for the Brigida pick.
And now we see a nanoed Weirdo jumping into the backline, but SCAD is properly kiting this. Unfortunately, Kabimas just cannot survive this nanoed Winston,
Oh, Weirdo
as
gets too aggressive.
Donnie does the same thing in their backline, but unable to really find anybody back there. However, they are down their tank right now, so this is SCAD's perfect opportunity to jump in and try and get some kills here. Unfortunately, UF is just playing very clever right now. He's just up there doing massive amounts of damage. It's crazy. I think he understands the sheer amount of damage that a Symmetra can do, as Orca up there denies Ash that high ground, and Weirdo just ults into the backline. This is just a battle of the monkeys in the backline. Bob on point, as Weirdo just remains way far in the back. Bob is slept, and Donnie and Skits fight up on this high ground to try and claim it. Keep that Symmetra off of it. Keep that Brig off of it. And now we see three ults from the UF side, and it finds two of SCAD's players. SCAD has one pick. Can they pull it back here? No, a bomb on Donnie, and it just looks like UF has just cleaned up SCAD here at the end. Unfortunately, that is a loss for SCAD and a win for UF. So definitely something to mention about UF, this team. They are crazy with their coordination with that Symmetra. Like you were saying, Harmony seems to be like a very competent Symmetra player, definitely a very persistent Symmetra player. As we see on map 1, that Symmetra was just used to teleport that Rhine around and constantly be in SCAD's team, forcing them to brawl, and there was nothing SCAD could do. And we saw that in this game too, just that teleporter, that constant movement, giving teams that traditionally would have no movement, like copious amounts of movement. Definitely having that just coordination, that like know how to move around these maps, gave UF the edge here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll be honest, I was doubting it at first to contest the high ground, but Harmony, you've thoroughly impressed us on the Symmetra pick. Well played to Florida.
Absolutely. Very well played to Florida. I would love to see how this team does going on, and unfortunately this is SCAD's first loss, but I think it was an honorable loss, as UF is just insane mobility, insane individual players, especially having that Genji in that game 1. He was disgusting, and this Harmony player definitely a huge obstacle for I think any team that encounters them. So fantastic playing here today, UF and SCAD. Excited to see the next game, and catch us then.
Yeah, take care guys. Till next time.